You are now listening to Mark's Unexplained World by Mark the Medium, available on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Prime, Podbean and most other podcast platforms. Tonight's episode is about the dark side of the Mother Earth cult. So it's over to you now, Mark, to throw some light onto this cult.
The Mother Earth, or otherwise known as Lovers One and the Galactic Federation of Light and Joy Reigns, is an American new religious movement which was led by Amy Carlson until her death in 2021. Amy Carlson was referred to within the group as the Mother God and described herself as, amongst other things, the creator of the universe. Mother Earth had between 12 and 20 full-time members who lived with Amy Carlson at the time of her death, with the Mother Earth group being described by many, including ex-members and media outlets, as a cult. And despite the Mother Earth group banning drink and drugs for members, Amy Carlson was often accused of drinking large amounts of alcohol and subsequently behaving abusively towards her fellow members. Other accusations within the group included, amongst other things, physical abuse and sleep deprivation, with members allegedly only being allowed to sleep for 4 to 5 hours a night. The group's theology included references to the concepts of Atlantis, the Anunnaki, reptilian aliens, and the world, and that the world was run by a cabal who were determined to keep the planet, meaning our planet of course, in a low vibrational state. Greetings, Unexplainers. Thank you for tuning in again and listening to this cult-inducing episode of Mark's Unexplained World. My name is Mark Hughes. I'm a psychic medium, a ufologist and a true crime buff. And just to give you a better idea of who I am and what I do, every Monday night, although occasionally on a Tuesday allowing for bank holidays and busy weekends, I do a podcast on the many wide and various subjects that fall under the Unexplained banner. These include ufology, hauntings, disasters, and all sorts of paranormal phenomena, including true crime, unsolved crime, and the many missing people that often go unnoticed. So if you are listening to this show on YouTube, please give us a review and a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you are listening on any other podcast platforms, again, give us a like and a follow. In this episode, I'm going to tell you about the story surrounding the dark side of the Mother Earth cult. And this week's necessary disclaimer: this story is a tale that sadly involves people being abused, as well as just touching on animal abuse, so it may prove upsetting to some. Listener discretion is advised. Also, all opinions and comments are strictly my own, but the facts of the case, as always, remain. I also apologise if I pronounce anything incorrectly, as my English, although it is my first and only language, will always look great in black and white. Anyway, let's get back to the story. What I want to do first, in part 1 of this podcast, is talk about the background regarding the Mother Earth, or Lovers One founder, Amy Carlson. So, according to Wikipedia, Amy Carlson was born on the 30th of November 1975 in McPherson, Kansas, and was known to her followers as Mother God. Amy Carlson's parents divorced when she was a child, and after they both remarried, she was raised between their two individual homes, which were in Kansas and Oklahoma City. Amy and her sister Tara Carlson eventually decided to live with her mother and stepfather full-time after claims of abuse by their stepmother. The family, which now included Amy, her sister Tara, their mother and their stepfather, later lived a comfortable middle-class life in Dallas, Texas, and then later on they relocated to Houston. Whilst living in Dallas, Amy Carlson received good grades at school and sang in the school choir. Over time, Amy Carlson had 3 children by 3 different fathers and managed a branch of the McDonald's fast food chain. During the mid-2000s, Amy Carlson started to develop an interest in New Age philosophy and consistently posted onto the forum page of their website. And it was on one of these forums that Amy Carlson met a gentleman named Amarith White Eagle, who managed to convince her that she was, in fact, divine. On a short but interesting side note here, Amarith White Eagle is a California Native American artist and musician, as well as a man of God, with the utter belief that everyone has at least a little bit of divine energy swirling inside them. It was after her encounter with Amarith White Eagle that Amy Carlson began to claim that she was experiencing paranormal phenomena, or more specifically, that she heard a voice telling her that she would one day become the President of the United States.
Seriously?
Yes. So, in late 2007, Amy Carlson left her 3rd husband, 3 children, her manager's job at McDonald's, and ceased any contact with most of her family, just so she could be with the man she believed to be her twin flame, Amarith White Eagle, resulting in the beginning of their life together in Colorado. On another interesting bit of information, and according to the Twin Flame Mastery website, twin flames represent a profound soul-level connection with another being that is believed to be the 2 halves of the same soul. This divine partnership fosters personal growth and healing, which leads to a union. And again, according to the same website, when you are united with your twin flame, you gain a deeper understanding of yourself and what it means to be human. Once the couple, meaning Amy Carlson and Amarith White Eagle, of course, had settled down in their new pad in Colorado, they eventually launched a website of their own, calling it the Galactic Free Press. And on this new website, they not only shared their wedding photographs, but they consistently blogged about their beliefs while preaching positivity. In 2009, the group posted their first videos to YouTube, with Amy Carlson and Amarith White Eagle leading the group as Mother and Father God. And in a HBO documentary called Lovers One, The Cult of Mother God, Amarith White Eagle says, and I quote, "We would talk about ascension, stepping out of the programmed world and attaining a higher vibrational consciousness." Amy Carlson left Amarith White Eagle in around 2014 after she managed to gain her first very own follower, a Mr. Miguel Lamboy, who would later manage the group's logistics and finances. And also from 2014 onwards, with the help of the internet, this new movement, now belonging to Amy Carlson, began to grow, with the group prior to 2018 travelling between Colorado, Oregon, California and Florida, before finally moving to Moffat. And throughout this long journey there was a succession of father gods, with a Mr. Jason Castillo becoming the final father god in 2018. Amy Carlson's teachings within the Mother Earth or Lovers One group mainly revolved around the idea that she was the 534th incarnation of Mother God, a deity who was destined to lead exactly 144,000 believers out of their superficial reality of the 3D world and into a fifth dimensional plane of higher existence. On a quick interesting side bit here, the number 144,000 is what is known as a natural number with certain significance in both Christianity and Islamism. It's funny what you can learn, isn't it? Anyway, she also claimed along the way to have not only been the Mother Earth, but also Gaia, Cleopatra, Jesus Christ, Joan of Arc, Harriet Tubman, Helena Blavatsky, Marilyn Monroe, and Charlie Brown from the well-known Peanuts cartoon strip. Well, perhaps not the Charlie Brown thing. Anyway, I continue. Amy Carlson also claimed to have a full memory of all her past lives, including the Jesus crucifixion, and, like Jesus, she also said she could produce miracles. Oh, and she also claimed to be the mother of Elvis Presley, who would have been 90 this year of 2024 had he lived. And with the Elvis Presley thing not being me joking around this time, as she has her saying this is on record. After this first short break, in part 2, we will look at the Mother Earth or Lovers One group and the abuse that allegedly took place.
This show is brought to you courtesy of Neil Packer and the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre. Find them online at www.hauntedresearchcentre.com or at 9 to 11 Regent Street, Hinckley, LE10 1AW. Open on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for guided tours of the haunted rooms at just £3 per person. Booking is essential at all times, and over 16s only, please, unless accompanied by an adult. The haunted rooms are extremely haunted, and paranormal activity could, and has, taken place at any time. Some areas and particular objects or items can be quite scary and unnerving. Membership is available for £25 to qualify for selective offers. And why not download the app, available on both iOS and Android, for only $3.99, to keep up to date with what is coming up at the centre.
The theology of the group Lovers One, or Mother Earth, has been described as a fluid group combining New Age spirituality, conspiracy theories and elements from the mainstream Abrahamic religions, meaning Judaism, Christianity and Islamism. The group proclaimed that Amy Carlson was a divine, meaning that she was a 19 billion-year-old being who had birthed all creation, with Amy Carlson herself claiming that she had been reincarnated at least 534 times. The group also claimed that Amy Carlson was the queen of the lost continent of Lemuria, with the group incorporating the belief that the Lemurians lived within Mount Shasta in California. On a quick interesting side bit here, Lemuria, I think I'm pronouncing that right, itself was a continent proposed in 1864 by the zoologist Philip Sclater, who theorised that it was actually an island that had sunk beneath the Indian Ocean. Amy Carlson's other statements included that in a past life she was Donald Trump's father, and that she had spoken to the spirit of the deceased actor Robin Williams, who she claimed was the Archangel Zadkiel, otherwise known as the Archangel in Jewish and Christian angelology. The Lovers One's group theology also included references to the concepts of Atlantis, the Anunnaki and the reptilians, believing that the world was run by a cabal determined to keep the planet in a low vibrational state. On another quick interesting side note here, a cabal is a group of people who are united in some close design, usually to promote their private views or interests in an ideology or state or another community, often by intrigue and usually without the knowledge of those who are outside their group. The use of this term, cabal, usually carries negative connotations of political purpose, conspiracy and secrecy, and is sometimes used to refer to a secret plot. The group also adopted elements of the QAnon conspiracy theories, by the members having routinely expressed speculation that the COVID-19 pandemic was planned, and that the Sandy Hook massacre, 9/11 and the Holocaust were all hoaxes. They also claim that what society has been taught about the Holocaust is suspicious, and that Adolf Hitler's intention was to serve the light. Whatever that means. I don't know. The core group of between 12 to 20 members live with Amy Carlson in Creston, which is a small town in Saguache County in southeastern Colorado. In order to recruit new members, solicit donations, promote New Age products and sell vitamin supplements, the group would do daily live streams on YouTube. The group also offered things like etheric surgery, which cost $88 a session, claiming that it could remove sickness and negative energy from the body. On another quick interesting side note, etheric surgery, otherwise known as bioenergetic medicine, is a holistic approach to health that combines elements of energy medicine, psychology and body work, which helps to promote healing within a person or patient. It focuses on the idea that everyone has a bioenergetic field that can be influenced by mental, emotional and spiritual factors, with these influences causing imbalances in the energy body, leading to physical, mental and spiritual health issues, with there being many ways in which bioenergetic medicine can be practiced. The group's former website said that Amy Carlson was a spiritual surgeon who would work multidimensionally to operate on people's bodies and cure various physical ailments. The former website also claimed that she had cured cancer, Lyme disease, addiction and suicidal thoughts, as well as removing brain tumours and helping with cases of autism. But not all things with the Love as One group have been rosy, as it has been described by ex-members and numerous media outlets as a cult. What with these ex-members, family members and former acolytes accusing both Amy Carlson and her current father God, Jason Castillo, of abusing members, not only physically but also by sleep deprivation, claiming that members were, allegedly, only being allowed to sleep for up to 4 to 5 hours a night. And not only that, but members were also expected to wait on Amy Carlson's hand and foot throughout the day. And despite the group banning drink and drugs for the assembly, Amy Carlson was accused of drinking large amounts of alcohol and subsequently behaving abusively to other members. Numerous videos have emerged of Amy Carlson's abusive behaviour to other members, animals and children. In one video, Amy Carlson is holding a small child on her lap who is crying, so she calls for one of the group members to put the crying child in time out, shutting them away in their room. And in another video, Amy Carlson holds up a cat under its arms and then lifts it high in the air by the scruff of its neck and holds it there, dangling, until it stops making noises. Other videos show Amy Carlson screaming at one of the members who, at her mealtime, brought her meatballs instead of chicken. Go figure, eh? But the mealtime drama didn't just stop there. Oh no, because later during the same day, the very same member was screamed at again by the current father god, Jason Castillo, who, it had appeared, had decided to take on a disciplinary role within the group, with him being recorded calling fellow members insane and reminding them that if they are insane, then they cannot serve God. And on top of that, there are also recordings which were actually produced by the group themselves, reportedly showing its members making anti-Semitic and racist remarks. In the May of 2020, one of the group members was found wandering the wilderness, disorientated, naked and dehydrated, after being described by the organisation as lacking the right energy and being on the wrong side of the mountain. Now, to be honest with you listeners, when they used the phrase the wrong side of the mountain, I'm not sure whether it is meant as a spiritual term, a form of insult, or if this person was physically lost, as on them being found in the wrong location, i.e. the wrong side of the mountain. Who knew? Anyway, I'm sure it'll sort itself out. The Saguache County Sheriff's Office reported that they had received many complaints about the Lovers One group from various families, but these complaints were regarding things like brainwashing and fraud. And a spokesman for the group has denied any abusive behaviour, suggesting instead that the former members were just lazy and were the kind of people who would, and I quote,
sit on the couch or lay in bed all day.
And I think it's only fair to mention that in the September of 2020, the Mother Earth or Lovers One group were featured on an episode of Dr. Phil, where Amy Carlson and 2 other members were then confronted with the claims of abuse They strongly denied all the accusations. That should be when they were confronted with claims and views, they strongly denied all the accusations. Sorry about that. After this second short break, in part 3, we will look at the group's visit to Hawaii, Amy Carlson's declining health, what the Mother Earth group were charged with after what they did with Amy's corpse, and the group's status today.
Fright Nights was established in 1999 as the first company in the world to offer overnight ghost hunt experiences to the general public, pioneering paranormal events since the last century. Fright Nights operate at hundreds of the UK's most haunted and exclusive venues. All events have their own team of experienced paranormal investigators, mediums and psychics. They have a VIP members club for regular returning guests, offering loyalty discounts and exclusive invitation-only events. They can also host private events for your family and friends. You can contact them on 07 852 998 628 or email them at office@frightnights.co.uk. Or take a look at their website at www.frightnights.co.uk, where you can see the many locations they investigate and learn about them and the opportunities they have available. Hundreds of ghost hunters join Fright Nights every month for the most thrilling ghost hunting experiences they'll never forget. If you haven't been on a ghost hunt before, then why not join them to see what it's all about? Why not visit their social media sites for up-to-date information on all the places they visit and to see what's coming up in the future? They look forward to seeing you all soon. Fright Nights Ghost Hunting Events. Remember, only the original will do.
In the September of 2020, it had been reported that Amy Carlson was in poor health and that she was actually paralysed from the waist down, with Carlson herself stating that she had been diagnosed with cancer. So, in order that the group could help with their beloved leader with her ailments, they would eventually leave their base in Colorado and move its core membership, with Amy Carlson of course, all the way over to Hawaii. Young Ms. Carlson then reportedly called on other members to join her in Hawaii by travelling through a portal to Lemuri, which is a reference to the Hollow Earth conspiracy theory, alleging that a group of ascended beings called Lemurians live in a utopian city deep beneath the Earth's crust. If you are interested at all, I have done an episode of Mark's Unexplained World on the Hollow Earth concept, which is available on Google Podcasts and Spreaker. Episode number 53, to be precise. Once there, the group set up its Hawaiian headquarters on the island of Kauai. However, things did take a turn for the worst when, upon the discovery of the cult, the group faced fierce opposition from the locals when protesters engaged in a multi-day standoff with the group by surrounding its base, engaging in prayers and burning driftwood in fires around the group's building.
So what was the reason for all this protesting?
Well, it appears that at some point during their stay on the sunny island, Amy Carlson had thought what a great idea it would be to claim that she was a reincarnation of the Hawaiian deity, Peel.
Okay, I see. But who is Peel?
Well, It appears that in Hawaiian religion, Pele, spelt P-E-L-E, is the goddess of volcanoes and fire and the creator of the Hawaiian Islands. And as well as being a well-known deity within Hawaiian mythology, she is also notable for her contemporary presence and cultural influence as an enduring figure from ancient Hawaii. So, as you can imagine, the Mother Earth group, along with their intrepid leader, just after a few weeks, left the Hawaiian Islands and returned to Colorado. And once back in Colorado, the police were called multiple times to perform wellness checks on Ms. Carlson. But on each visit, the Lovers One members claimed that she was not at home. In the early part of 2021, the Lovers One group were eventually located in an RV park in Mount Shasta in Northern California. However, they were soon asked to leave the park due to overcrowding. So the Lovers One group then, according to an HBO documentary and on Amy Carlson's request, travelled to Ashland in Oregon and stayed in Callahan's Mountain Lodge. On another interesting side note here, Callahan's Mountain Lodge is a family-owned and operated business based in South Oregon that has been around for 69 years after being originally founded in 1947. With Callahan itself being nestled below Mount Ashland and located just 11 miles from Ashland in Oregon. It is also surrounded by the scenery of the Siskiyou Mountains in an alpine tree-lined canyon.
Which does all sound quite idyllic, I must say.
While the Lovers One group was staying at the Callahan's Mountain Lodge, Amy Carlson lost all motor control and ended up having to be carried around by other members of the group. And according to a YouTube video by two of the other group members, Amy Carlson had asked them to take her to the hospital several times. However, they refused. For what reason they refused, I could not find anything out, but it could be, though, through the fear of losing their leader. Possibly. Amy Carlson was last seen alive by someone outside of the group on the 10th of April in 2021. It was thought that she died in a room at the Callahan's Mountain Lodge on an unknown date, but it has been estimated that it was very soon after the group had moved to the lodge. After Amy Carlson's death, and after realising that the staff at the Mountain Lodge were wondering where that rather strong odour of rotting flesh was coming from, the Lovers One community then moved her corpse to the Mount Hood National Forest. The group had originally intended to leave Amy's corpse at the Mount Hood National Forest in order that the galactic beings would be able to collect her body, but Jason Castillo, who, if you remember, was the current father god to Amy's mother god, claimed that he had heard a calling to move her body. Yet again. So Amy's corpse was then driven back to the group's original mission home at 4 Alkido Court in Creston, Colorado. On the 28th of April 2021, the Saguache County Police Department had a report that the Lovers One group had come to stay, without any permission, at the mission home with Amy Carlson's body. And then when the police arrived at the mission home, they discovered Amy Carlson's mummified corpse with its state of decay suggesting that she had been dead for at least several weeks. Her body was found in a sleeping bag wrapped in Christmas lights, with her face covered in glitter and both of her eyes missing, in what authorities later described as a makeshift shrine. A photo from a few weeks before Amy Carlson was thought to have died shows her appearance to be emaciated, with thinning hair and discoloured skin, which had a purplish hue. She weighed only 75 pounds when she died. That is just 5 stone 5 pounds or 34 kilograms. The authorities stated that Amy Carlson had indeed not died at the mission home property as originally reported, but in California. So because of this finding, her body was subsequently transported, again, back to Colorado. After Amy Carlson's death was publicised, the Lovers One group's Facebook page stated that she had ascended, with their website then being taken offline. According to Tom Perrin, who was the Saguache County coroner, Amy Carlson had been ingesting large amounts of colloidal silver, which the group had been promoting as a cure for COVID-19, despite the fact that the FDA had warned the group that their information was incorrect. On yet another interesting side note, colloidal silver is a colloid consisting of silver particles that are suspended in liquid. Since 1990, there has been a resurgence of the promotion of colloidal silver as a dietary additive, marketed with claims of it being an essential mineral supplement, or that it can prevent or treat numerous diseases such as cancer, diabetes, arthritis, HIV or AIDS, herpes and tuberculosis. However, there is, and I cannot stress this enough, no medical evidence that supports the effectiveness of colloidal silver for any of these claimed indications. And according to reports, silver is not an essential mineral in humans. There is no dietary requirement for silver, and hence there is no such thing as a silver deficiency. Consuming colloidal silver over a long period of time can lead to a blue-grey discoloration of the skin, as well as seizures and multiple organ failures. The autopsy report that was released in the December of 2021 stated that Amy Carlson had died from a, and I quote,
global decline in the setting of alcohol abuse, anorexia and chronic colloidal silver ingestion.
The autopsy also found that Amy Carlson had no evidence of any cancer in her system. In total, 7 members of the Mother Earth group were charged with the abuse of a corpse as well as child abuse due to the presence of 2 children within the property. However, on the 5th of May, that same year in 2021, Alex Rains, who was the Deputy District Attorney, announced plans to upgrade the abuse of the corpse charges to the more serious charge of tampering with a deceased human body. All the charges against the Mother Earth group members included charges of child abuse, abuse of a corpse, tampering with deceased human remains, and false imprisonment. However, rather surprisingly, all of the charges against all 7 members were later dropped. In the aftermath of Amy Carlson's death, the group splintered, with the co-leader Jason Castillo, who, if you remember, was the father god to Amy's mother god, forming a new group calling themselves Joy Reigns, with a faction of opposing members who had who had control of the group's online activities, renaming their Facebook page and YouTube channel to call it 5D Full Disclosure, as well as launching a new website to go with it. But whatever the members are doing now, who knows? As far as I can tell, at the time of writing this podcast, the Lovers One or Mother Earth group are now completely defunct.
Thank you all for taking the time out to listen to this episode of Mark's Unexplained World. In our next episode, show number 127, we are going to be looking at Father Hans Schmidt, the Evil Priest. Hans B. Schmidt was a German Catholic priest, rapist, convicted murderer and suspected serial killer. He was executed at Sing Sing prison in New York State for murdering and dismembering a pregnant woman in the United States.
This show was written and researched by myself, Mark Hughes, and proofread and edited by Linda Hughes. As usual, the pronunciations of all the names of places was mine. The actors in this episode were Mark Hughes, Linda Hughes and Denise Poolar, with special thanks to Neil Packer and the staff at the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre in Hinckley. And of course, a big thank you to everyone for listening. We never run out of ideas here at the office for Mark's Unexplained World podcast. But if you know of any other intriguing stories under the Unexplained banner, including ufology, hauntings, disasters, and any other sort of paranormal phenomena, and as well as true crime, unsolved crime and missing people, just drop me a direct message and I'll see what I can do. I will also include the name of the person who suggested the idea in the end credits of the podcast, if they wish. And again, just to add, if you are listening to this show on YouTube, please give us a review and a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you are listening on any of the other podcast platforms, again, give us a like and a follow. I thank you in advance. Mark's Unexplained World, because there's more to the paranormal than meets the third eye. And remember guys, keep it real, because being real is better than being perfect. This show and all its contents are covered by basic copyright of Mark the Medium.